Um, yeah, I'm going to attempt to document this Samba thing, um, and how I got file sharing to basically work between my server, my Linux server, and pretty much every other computer, including Linux boxes and Windows 10 anyway. I haven't tried it with Windows 7 yet, but you can, let's see. The thing about it is that I'm really not exactly sure how I even got it to work to the extent it does, because it's just, this stuff was just so all over the map. That's one of the reasons I'd like to try to see if I could document it. Geez, I hope I can remember how to even get into it. Because you can't do it through this approach. You've got to actually go and actually try to run it from the command line, I believe. And you can see here I've got it set up as CentOS, and you can see the other things that I have in here. I don't know if any of that's relevant or not. Okay, wait, this. Okay, this is something that's important. This is our host file, and that's why my computer actually recognizes this as CentOS, because on Windows here, we have this host file, and there's not really much in it. But here I got server one example listed as CentOS, and that's its IP on my local network. So, but that's like I think optional. I don't think that's a big deal. It's just was part of one of the instruction books I was reading. But anyway, to go back to the CentOS thing again, I think that's what you have to do. And I don't even know if this still works, honestly. Yeah, but these are the 4 users I set up. An anonymous user, and and I'm probably going to change a lot of this, but I'm just I'm still trying to figure it all out. But and this was from one instruction set that I went through, and this is from another. And this one, there's something still wrong with the permissions on it, because I really can't. I mean, I can copy stuff to it, but I can't like copy folders of stuff to it. Let's see, miscellaneous 3D tools. I think it's just a bunch of links. Let me see if I can copy this to it. Yeah, see, it says destination folder access denied, try again. So I basically got to skip everything. The only thing I could copy was the folder itself. Now the problem isn't that I can't copy files, because I can, but I can't copy folders. The contents of the folder is all because of Linux permissions. It's not set up quite right as far as the owner is concerned, I guess. So, that's probably what's going on with this. The permissions, the ownership is probably not set up right. And I guess it's anonymous or somebody that needs to, have ownership, instead of, I don't even know if anonymous is a real actual person. Because again, I'm still not really sure, because again, I still haven't had any, even though I've read through a lot of books on Linux, still none of them have really covered how all this shit actually works. So, this little minutia, like, well, like things like the users thing and the ownership, the whole concept of the filing system in Linux is still a little confusing to me. So, particularly when you got like 2 types of owners, the original file creator, then a group, I guess, and then I guess you got to add people to groups. And but anyway, I just still haven't quite wrapped my head around it yet. But anyway, I wanted to show you too that I can using either regular PowerShell or this PowerShell, I can SSH into it, and apparently SSH was already installed on this Windows 10 computer as of the Windows update, and this is a Windows 10 Home Edition computer, so it should work on Pro too. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. I think I'll hold on and see if I got it in my notes. Yeah. Oops. Last. Okay. I don't know what's doing. I'm just waiting for my password. What? I don't think it is. I don't know what's done. I don't know what that window was that tried to pop up. Yeah, that's the right syntax for it. Last time I tried to run this, I didn't have any problems with it, so. Well. Now, I'm not sure, I'm trying to log into my i3 here, and I could be having problems with it because I've already got another SSH session going with it on this same port, and I don't know if that's an issue. I don't know how many sessions you can have on a single port, but I mean, I've already got some SSH sessions going between the other computer too, so it's already got a couple of terminals logged into it, so I don't know if I don't know if I can have more than one computer logged onto the same port or not. I'm not really sure how SSH works, because it seems like it would be one port per computer, you know what I mean? Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's either that or this damn thing doesn't work for some reason. I have no idea. So, I don't know. Let me try it. Because I think the last time I did it actually just a regular PowerShell. Well, I don't know if that makes any difference or not. But yeah, apparently it does make a difference. So I guess that PowerShell Pro it doesn't work in for some fucking reason. Okay, yeah. Good to know. Okay, so yeah, so there we are on the server. So what's interesting about this is it basically works very similarly to wow, even my editor works. So even my aliases work on it. That's micro editor, by the way. I've managed to set the editor micro up on it because it's actually just a better editor. It's hard to explain, but it sort of works with the mouse a little better and so forth. It's a hell of a lot easier than Vim and some of those other idiotic editors they have out there. I don't know what the hell they make such a fuss about, Nano and all those really confusing, primitive-ass editors. I mean, Jesus Christ, I could write a better editor like that in my sleep. I don't know what the fuck, the deal is, but anyway. So here's a root directory. Okay, but I just wanted to bring this terminal up so I can actually show you how I configured the files on the server to make this whole thing work. So, but anyway, you know, the tutors I use to actually set this thing up are, you know, I guess this is one of them, or three of them that I was looking at. This is okay. But there were three of them that I was looking at. You know, and it's the first one, you know, from How to Forge or whatever. You know, for some reason all my ads have stopped working, which is good. I don't know. Maybe my internet's down or something, and I just don't know it yet. Because I actually hadn't logged onto the internet or done anything on the internet today. Let me check. Seriously? What the fuck am I doing that for? Okay, let me try. Yeah, I got the internet. It's fine. That's something I actually need to look at some point here. But Linux CNC downloads. Okay, 64-bit Linux CNC. Software install. With that one. I wonder if there's a way of app getting it. Anyway, but yeah, that's so. Yeah, I don't know why all the ads have stopped working, but I'm glad they have. Driving me nuts. Okay, but yeah, basically, you know, like I said, what does it cover here? Okay, net config workstation. Oh, that's for Windows. Yeah, well, yeah, in fact, I think this is, you know, yeah, this is what, you know, instructed me on how to set up that little, you know, host file. So, and this is where I set up that anonymous folder we were looking at. Not there. Close that thing. Damn it. Not that one. What are these? Oh. Okay. I think I need that up anymore. Let's see. Okay, Cent OS. Yeah, Cent OS. Here it is. Okay, I'll put this up here so I can grab it again. Yeah, but like I said, this anonymous folder, this is what I used to set that up. But basically, when I went through this the first time, it wasn't working. So, you know, I'm not sure, but I didn't follow these instructions totally to the T. So I'm not sure, and that's why I want to go take a look at the files. Okay, but basically, this is talking about the configuration file for Samba, which is the, you know, the thing we're using as a file server. Apparently in CentOS there are maybe other file servers too that were actually available in the repository, but I think this was already installed. So Samba was actually, you know, because I installed CentOS server on it, so I mean I think it was actually already pre-installed. I don't know if it's up to date because that's the thing. I'm running, you know, my server is actually on a really old computer. It's on like a Pentium 4, you know, 32-bit computer with like 1.5 gig of RAM and you know, it's like a couple of 100 gig hard drive overall. But I've actually got Ubuntu server on it too, but that keeps crashing. So, and I've actually got Unix on it too. know, the free Unix they have out there, the Idaho and or whatever they call it, Kentucky, whatever version of it they call. They call the Solaris that they have, the free open Solaris, because the real Solaris, that fucked up that totally destroyed my other computer when I tried to install it. It wiped out my whole computer, Windows, everything, Windows 7, and I don't have installed disks for that, so that really pissed me off. So stay wide away from that Solaris, because it won't give you any warning. It'll just start installing itself and wipe everything out. Basically, you'll think it's just setting up so that it can start the install program, so it'll offer you selections and stuff. No, it'll go and start wiping out your system. So, I mean, not the moment you start the program, but after you answer a few questions and you're expecting some kind of GUI to pop up, it doesn't. In fact, there is no GUI installed by default in that thing. So it's just bullshit. Somebody really ought to sue those people, because on their website they don't have any kind of warnings to that effect. In fact, you're kind of led to believe it's a GUI kind of thing, but it's not. So it's just all their information's out of date. I mean, Oracle really should have had their ass sued off over that one. So I'm sure that I'm not the only one that's had their computer wiped out because of that. Because like I said, hell, you don't know anything about Unix, and you're trying to learn, but at the cost of your computer. So anyway, but again, the Open Indiana version of it, and that's what it was. That you can install. It is GUI based. If you find it, it's hard to find though. But and that was a few months ago. I still don't remember all the steps I went through, but I know it was Open Indiana. It was hard to find a download for it, but I eventually did somewhere. So I don't know. I wish I remembered where exactly. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if I have any of the information on that or not. Probably don't. I mean, I know I stored some, I know I stored some links to it, but I don't know where. I mean, because it was actually really a pain in the ass to find. I wish I could find it for you, because that would warrant its own video, except that I don't have any kind of there's really nothing to make a video about, because I can't remember exactly what I did. And I mean, I think I've got the ISO somewhere, so if somebody's watching this video and really wants to know, well, maybe I can get you the ISOs. I put it on like GitHub or something. I think that's probably where I actually found the Open Indiana thing, was somewhere on GitHub. But anyway, but it's almost not worth making a video of, in and of itself, because I don't have a lot to put in that video. So, but if you're interested in Solaris Unix, but anyway, getting back to the what we're doing. But yeah, the file, or that you're supposed to edit is this, etc. Samba and Samba configuration. Apparently that's a default. Yeah, it's a default directory that they installed, or that, in my case, pre-installed. So basically, you can see what it is there, and this is owned by root. So but I can see I've got backups, and there is an example there, and I know I used some of that, but I know I looked into that example file and provided some useful information, but you can kind of see what I did here. Most of this stuff, what the hell is this? Okay, yeah, most of this stuff's commented out. That's why I said what the hell it was. Because originally this wasn't commented out, but I think that's what I did that actually made everything work. You can see the person, this person says basically, to summarize it, they say basically, just I think clear the whole file. Start with a new file. So that's why she, um, backs it up. Um, it says, I want to start with an empty file. So basically, I guess she just had this, although if you look at it further down here, it implies that she didn't actually do that. But at any rate, I think that's why it worked, because I came back in the end. The last thing I did on this file was I came back and commented everything out, because it just wasn't quite working. And not just this one, but the other one, because again, I actually did a couple of these at the same time. But you can see here, and this is a full this is the full scope of it. So these are the users I set up, and this is from a different a different tutor. And so that's why I like this text editor, by the way, this micro text editor, because it does work with the mouse. You can actually, work with the cursor. But generally, I think you got to use that Control Shift copy and stuff like that with it. But let me see. I'm pretty sure that's what you got to do. Yeah, you do. I'm not sure if that's actually part of it. And it's Alt G to bring up the the window. Control G brings up like the help file in this. But you can see, it's Control Q is quit. Control S is save, which is actually a pretty common thing on Windows. So, really, these are the only two keys I actually use, although the find actually works pretty well with Control F. So, if I'm working on, like look up, see how it's highlighting comment as I type. So, it actually works pretty well. So, I'm not sure how you like go to the next one or whatever, but and you got a Control A is select all, which again is a lot like Windows. But again, Control C and Control V still don't work. I'm not sure. I think they just follow the Unix or the Linux convention, which is taking Control Shift C and Control Shift V. Control Shift C. Well, no, I don't know what's going on with it. Oh, well, my actual cursor's up here. But so I guess maybe working with the mouse doesn't matter. So yeah. And Control Z undoes. Control C, Control V. So it actually just works with Control C and Control V apparently. Although it seems like on Linux I have to use the Control Shift thing, so I don't know. But I do know on this computer I actually was able to edit the bash functions on that, so that Control C and Control V actually copy and paste, just like they do on Windows and the rest of Linux, because that's incredibly annoying. But at any rate, this is how the file's set up right here. So, yeah, on that Control C and Control V thing, I mean, on my other Ubuntu, my first Ubuntu installation, I was able to do it because that's running the damn XFCE 4 shell, and you can't change it. With a lot of research, I managed to find that there's an actual configuration file, I think in your home directory or some shit, and maybe even a general one. I forgot if I found that or not, but anyway, in Ubuntu Studio I was able to set that up and get it to work. But on my other computer it lacks that file, so I created one from scratch, but I still haven't gotten it to work. But I haven't rebooted the whole shell thing yet, so hopefully it'll work, but I still don't know yet, because it's got the exact same XFCE4 terminal on it. But yeah, I couldn't find any other terminal programs that allow you to do that. You know, it drives me crazy. It drives me crazy having to go Control Shift C and then come out here to, you know, the goddamn browser and go do Control V or vice versa, you know, and have Control, you know, accidentally do Control Shift C in a browser. Well, that does this. Okay, that really gets goddamn annoying. That's bullshit to have it work differently. I don't give a fuck what those arrogant pricks say about it. Oh, you know, it's worked. You know, Control C has done, you know, been, you know, to cancel an operation in the TTY servers for, you know, decades. Well, fuck you and your decades bullshit. That shit don't work that way these days. I don't even use that damn TTY terminal or whatever you're talking about. You know, it's for like old serial communications or some shit, isn't it? I mean, I have no idea, but I know I don't use that, whatever it is. So I just had to move it, and that was complicated because you had to do this STTY thing or something to reassign the Control C and Control V commands because it still got in the way of anything you'd try to define, I think, in any other file. So it was a bunch of bullshit, you know, or it's ATTY, I think it was. But so there's, you know, there's a couple of I guess you could do ATTY dash you know, something. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, I'm not sure what it was. Yeah, it's probably STTY because that's actually pulling up a baud rate and some things like that on this other computer. If you just type STTY on its own, but again, I think you can do some kind of command for key assignments or something. No. But at any rate, you know, just look into it because I believe that was the command that was causing, because there are keys that are just by default, like Control C and Control V by default are assigned to it, or something like that. I know Control Z is, and Control C sure as hell is. But you need to change the assignments to them, which actually isn't that difficult, but I don't know if it's permanent though. I still haven't been through a reboot on any of those computers to find that out. So I'm trying to document this in case, you know, while I can as much as I remember as much as I can, you know, I'm trying to document it, but so I need to just call this file general Linux stuff. You know, we're covering the editor and the you know, SSH from Windows, and SSH was really easy to set up. Most of these computers is you know, installed by default, including Windows 10, so I didn't have to set anything up. I got lucky on that, I guess. Well, anyway, yeah, I don't know what I did, but anyway, I think that's still basically what it was, you know, STTY or something like that. So it's either that or TTY. But I know there's a way of listing the key assignments, you know. I just forgot what the combination was. Yeah, I forgot what the combination was. Let's see. Print current settings in human readable form. So it might be the dash or the -A or something. I don't know. Version optional. Quit kill. Yeah, because this thing I'm looking at is definitely some kind of a serial communications port or some shit. Yeah, it's the -A command, I think. Well, yeah, it's the -A command. STTY-A, it tells you what the assignments are. It's one of the first things it lists. What it's got, assigned to like Control Z and Control C, and here it's saying it still has Control C and Control Z signed, but apparently I guess that's overridden somehow on the other computer. I don't know. On my server, because again, I was able to turn that off through the GUI on it. So, because it actually had a setting for that, for reassigning the damn keys, But on these other computers, nowhere can I find it, in none of the general system settings, nor in the actual terminal Windows settings. So it was a real pain in the ass. I spent hours and hours and hours and hours on it. I mean, I spent, like 6 or 8 hours on it trying to figure that out. It drives me that crazy. Anyway, but I'm going to go ahead and stop this and split it up as a new file. So I'll try to recover a little bit of some of this first. But since we've, just kind of covered some miscellaneous stuff here, I'll make a second video that actually covers what this video started to cover, which is this whole, how I set these servers up. So